Hello and welcome to the Digital Accomplice Podcast. Today we're joined by Thomas Danielsen. Welcome, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.
I want to tell you, the audience, what I would introduce you as, and then I want to hear your version. So, I would say you are a serial entrepreneur at this point, or a successful entrepreneur with multiple businesses. You've recently been one of the people who is using LinkedIn effectively, using video on LinkedIn effectively to start to build your personal brand, build your visibility, and even generate leads now from LinkedIn. And I know you wear lots of different hats. So, that's just kind of how I think about you. But I'd like to let you put it in your own words. How would you describe yourself, elevator pitch style?
Ooh. Well, I like the serial entrepreneur title, but yeah, I suppose that's true. I've started multiple companies. At this point of time, I have two, so I guess that makes it serial, right? Um, so I do actually own and run a travel and events company in the Baltic states that is turning 20 years this April. Um, but yeah, I last year, end of last year, I started a new company. I originally have a tech background, um, and strangely enough, I've been using my tech skills or education very much after I actually done the travel business, and I think it's part of the key to its success because I have an e-commerce background and SEO background, so grew that business. Using the power of digital, using of the
Yeah.
internet. So I guess I've returned to trying to do something more tech related, I suppose, which is now I'm trying to build this company called Remarkable Name, where I help founders with founder led marketing using video on LinkedIn or using LinkedIn as a channel to build a personal brand, and yeah, build an audience and get leads and sales from LinkedIn, I suppose. Yeah. So
Yeah, and it seems like that's been going well for you. I know that we've been, obviously talking a lot on LinkedIn and in chats like these. Um, I just want to hear from you in your words, like what would be like sort of the biggest success for you recently with the content that you've been doing that you could share with us?
hmm. Biggest success. Well, I mean, it's quite new, and while I'm still figuring out stuff. I'm sorry, we have to read. Can we redo this stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
sure, sure. I'll
I'm
cut here.
getting a million messages. Sorry, it's really disturbing. Sorry, fucking up your thing here.
It's okay. It's just editing. I do
Uh,
it every day.
yeah, I mean, messages start popping in. How the hell do I even switch this stuff off? Messaging popping. Dog started barking. I'm sorry. Um,
That's
where
okay.
were we?
So yeah, I'll just kind of warm you back up. Basically, I was asking. I know what you've been doing on LinkedIn, and I know it's working. But for you, what would you say would be like one of the biggest successes you've had recently with your content, like in LinkedIn?
Well, I mean, content-wise, I started my business because I heard via some people that LinkedIn was about to roll out the video feed. And I was starting up this video business for businesses, and I wasn't quite sure which niche to fall into. But what I do know, having a tech background and basically been living online for yeah, like close to, I would say, almost 30 years now. I was very early on the internet and had computers very early on. Um, I know that when platforms such as LinkedIn introduces something new, in this case a video feed, I know that they will reward people that jump on that trend because they want people to start adopting and using video in this case. Uh, so yeah, I jumped on it myself, and I basically, how to say, I wanted to prove to my future customers and even prove to myself that my thesis were right. So I started posting a lot of video content myself, and I guess I had some success in that regards. I've had multiple videos go north of 300,000 impressions. I've had a bunch go past 100,000 impressions, and then a whole lot in the 5 to 10,000 impressions. So, well, impressions, of course, are probably the wrong KPI. I mean, it gives you a dopamine kick. It's fun, it's exciting, and when you know that 300,000 people have seen your message, your content, that definitely gives you a boost. But ultimately, yeah, it's about turning those impressions of those people in to customers in the future. And now, after being quite consistent about it for 4 months, now I'm starting to see some results where people start contacting me wanting to know more. Like today, I've had two recording sessions with clients. So it's fun. Yeah, video definitely work, even though the algorithm is being pulled back a little bit at the moment. But yeah, I'm early on, but I'm starting to see the effect of the work that I've already done.
Yeah, it definitely, from my point of view, I can see that as well. And my own experience, I'm having like a parallel path as yours, so that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious, like what you see as your own biggest marketing challenge right now, and what are you doing about it? Maybe differently than what you have been doing, or are you just going to keep doing the same thing, and the consistency is where you're hoping to pay off, or are there other things you're now doing to sort of address the marketing challenges ahead of you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I'm definitely figuring out stuff as I go, but again, I do have a bit of a tech background, so um, I do cold outreach. That is part of my strategy of finding clients. I have a background from, I used to have an SEO agency and doing link building, so I've done a fair bit of outreach. So I'm definitely doing that. But now I am also starting to do, when you're working on LinkedIn, it's not just posting and ghosting. I mean, this is an expression that you've heard and many people will have heard. It's about engagement. It's about interacting with people. So this is the thing that I need to get better at personally, is to engage, not engage on the post per se, but to build a network with my ICPs and have the conversations with them in the DMs. I'm personally not enough in the DMs, and that is probably one of the most important or strongest thing you can do if you're working with sales or using LinkedIn as a sales tool, because you interact in the DMs. It sends signals to the algorithm. They might go and see your content, so you're sort of building up this flywheel. So for me, going forward is really doing way much more in the DMs or connecting with people. And I'm not selling, pitch slapping, or anything like that. It's about having genuine conversations and see if you can help people. And
Yeah,
if you have a solution to their problem, they might buy my services.
yeah, that sounds like the way to go.
And yeah,
So I
and I'm
want to. Oh,
continuing. Sorry, yeah, and obviously I'm continuing posting
yeah,
as much as I can. Actually, here's a little thing I was thinking about, and I might go outside of your plans here,
that's
but
okay.
I was thinking, I was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and someone said to me, you shouldn't post. No, you don't need to post every day, because the LinkedIn algorithm needs time to digest, show it to more people, get feedback from from the followers? What engagement do you get? And I thought, well, that probably makes sense. But then I was thinking about it and I said, is this a truth or is it someone's opinion? Because some people will say, no, you don't need to post every day because they don't want to either overload clients or want to scare away clients. And I thought, well, what would happen if I posted more than every day? What if I posted 2 times per day or even 3 times per day? Would the algorithm like it or would it not? So that's an experiment that I will try to find time to do at some point in March, at least post twice per day. Maybe it will not be 2 videos per day. That might be a bit heavy, but at least 1 video post and 1 regular post. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try that out, I think. See what
Well,
happens.
it's funny. You thought you were taking us off track, but you actually perfectly transitioned to what then my next question was going to be, is really about what you have been doing with video, which I'm pretty aware of because I see it every day, and then what you'd like to be. And you basically just told us that you want to do this experiment. And I thought I could just share with you, for the audience, if you don't know, Thomas launched a challenge with a group of us. I'm one of the people in his group where we basically are doing video every day for the month of February. So since I had already been doing my video podcast and posting my shorts every day, and now added the February challenge on top of that, I have been posting twice a day for all of February. So I can tell you that, you know, people are watching it. You know, I'm getting impressions. It's, you know, it's not quite the amazing results of some of our compatriots, but you know, the way I look at it is, if you're connected to me, you're going to see me every day. I'm going to be top of mind. I'm going to remind you that I'm a video expert. You know as well as I do, you never know what piece of content is going to perform. It might surprise you. The most impromptu, dumbest thing you ever put out there, so it just might perform like crazy and you don't know. So I just see it as like a long-term test to just, you know, keep getting out there and see what happens. So it would be interesting to take a little bit more comprehensive deep dive at the actual month of February to see what that meant. But I haven't seen that it's really harmed me in any way, other than, you know, the drop in the algorithm reward we were seeing a few months ago. Things are pretty different. But you know, people know me, they see me, and it starts conversations for sure. So if that helps you in your test, I don't know, but
Yeah, I well, I guess that's sort of my thesis here as well, is I cannot imagine that it will be negative. And especially if we're talking about videos, because you know, when you go into someone's profile and you go to see all the video posts, you get the library, right?
mm-hmm.
So you know, there's this concept about, I don't remember the specific details about it, but there is a thing that, um, how long time can someone spend with you to learn about you? And the
Mm-hmm.
more, like, can they I've heard anything from 7 hours all the way up to 7 hours, or also down to 30 minutes. Can someone watch or read something you have done for 30 minutes or more, and this way build a relationship with you or learn more about who you are, what you stand
Mm-hmm.
for, what you can help with? And you know, since you can go in on your LinkedIn and go under and see what you've actually posted, you will get the long line of the all of the videos that you have posted,
Right.
neatly put up into small sort of images, right? Which you will not get the same sort of presentation, visual presentation, for text posts. Then they just come as a long line and you need to scroll and scroll and scroll. While if you
Right.
have these videos, they come there neatly. I think it's what, four width and whatever much down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that's kind of like building a bank of content as well.
Yeah.
And just because I posted something 4 months ago doesn't mean the information or the knowledge that I share in that video 4 months ago, it doesn't mean that it's outdated today. It's still
Right.
current. I mean, I'm not talking about current news here or
Yeah.
something that has a short lifespan. The stuff that I'm talking about works tomorrow and works 6 months from now. It worked 6 months ago. So
Yeah. So I want to pivot a little bit the conversation to talk about using AI with video. I like to point out in like what we're talking about, the kind of video that we do, we're trying to show the authentic, real version of us, right? This is not AI generated. In fact, that kind of stuff works against what we're trying to do. We're trying to build trust and authenticity. But that's not to say that we can't use AI in our process. And for me, I use it mostly in pre production for organization, ideation, planning, things like that. And then in editing sometimes with like the script and stuff like that. And I'm curious, just like from your own experience, if you have other ways or are you also using it in the same way? And I don't know, do you share that distinction with me about like an AI version of myself is kind of like going to work against me as a brand?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, um, in terms of let's just make this clear. AI can be super powerful and super useful in many situations, but creating videos of yourself using AI, like some sort of replica and stuff, no, that's, oh, I wouldn't dare do that. And that kind of goes against the whole idea, because you want to put yourself out there authentically. You want to show who you are. You want to, show your gray hair if you have it, or no hair if you have it, or whatever that is, and how you talk and how you gesticulate and all of these kind of things that I'm overdoing right now.
Hmm.
Body language. And yeah, putting yourself out there on video is a chance to show your authentic self. And we connect with humans. We don't connect with brands or with something AI generated. So yeah, I use AI both before and after, but recording, no, that is as real as it gets, and that's what it has to be. I think if you start messing with AI uh, for video production, it goes against the whole power of using video. Because, and as I talk a lot about, is the really power, the power that lies in video is that you start building parasocial relationships, one-sided relationships. When people see
Hmm.
you again and again and again, they start to feel that they know you. They start building a relationship with you. It's one-sided. I mean, this is what we tend to do with celebrities, right? We feel that we know them. I mean, how many heated discussions have maybe you been or seen others that fight over how one celebrity is, or how he or she isn't or is,
Yeah.
but none of them even knows how they are. It's all based on a parasocial relationship. They feel that they know them. um, so yeah, this is sort of like really the power of video. You build this one-sided relationship. So when people start to know you, like you, trust you, they feel that they know you, it feels safe to enter in a conversation with you
Hmm.
about buying your services and whatnot. And a lot of the work has already been done, and you and I have spoken about this before as well, right?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
people show up and they go, oh, I feel I already know you, and you never met because they've
It's
seen
pretty
your
cool.
videos.
It's such a cool experience. I've been on both sides of that, and I've just been really paying attention to how I feel about other people once I've seen a bunch of their videos. You're walking into a warm relationship already.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I'm kind of curious when we talk about AI and efficiencies. Like, there's this big idea around repurposing right now. Like, it's kind of seemed like it's never been more important, especially now that we have so much video content. This podcast is a long form podcast, which gets cut into shorts. So that's one way that I'm repurposing stuff. I am getting curious though about like the other short form content that I make that's specifically just short form. like to what extent are you reusing that stuff? I mean, do you wait 3 months or 6 months and then repost that stuff, or does the algorithm somehow penalize you for being spammy? What are your thoughts about and your experiences with repurposing?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have any experience to share about it because
Yeah,
I'm sort of getting to the 4 months mark right
yeah,
now.
not there yet.
However, if we did this conversation in 2 weeks from now, or that, then I might have an answer for you, because what I'm planning to do next week, I might even do it this week. We'll see. I might actually repost, or I mean upload again, and maybe just change a little bit on the post text. The most popular videos that I've made, I think I will use the same hook because they were effective, and I just want to see if they will perform again.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't done it, but I really am eager to try. um yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just interesting that you're even interested in trying that. I'm also very curious. So I guess we'll
yeah.
see.
So, but
Um,
it's like, I spoke about. So I'm no stranger to doing this. I think it's a good idea. I'm not sure if I will repost everything that I've done, but
mhm.
I made a post about this. Was it this week or was it last week? Where um, I heard this all the time, where people saying, "Oh, I would run out of things to say after a month." Yeah, it was last week. I had a meeting last week with a founder friend, and he said, like, I don't know what I would post about. Like, I would run out of things to say within the first month, and that's not the case. I mean, you say the same thing again and again from different angles or in different ways,
Mhm.
and your message, what you stand for, what you do, what you believe, that sort of stays the same. So, yeah, why not repost it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the best ones.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll definitely see what happens here. When you look at content performance for the videos that you do you have like for your own use case, like what you would regard as like good performing versus great performing, or what was an utter failure? I mean, 0 views, 0 impressions. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but like, and 4.1 million impressions is obviously knocking it out of the park. But in between, do you have like a baseline for how you look at performance?
Actually, I can't say that I do. A- After the algorithm, was pulled back, I've, I mean, I do miss the dopamine hit. I must admit, I miss
Okay.
seeing, 100,000 or more
Yeah.
impressions on my stuff,
Yeah.
but that hasn't happened this year yet. But uh, ultimately, it's not about impressions or views. It's about getting your stuff in front of the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, at this point of time, I get happy if I get 500,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is far away from hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've when I will, when I'm selling my services, and I don't know if I should even say this, but of course I will say, oh, I've done videos that gotten 300,000 impressions, or in my video challenge that you are part of, one girl got 41 million views, which is just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
I will mention those things, but ultimately it is vanity metrics. um,
Yeah.
you just need to get in front of the right people, and the way that you get in front of the right people and stay top of mind is to share what you know again
Yeah.
and again and again and again, because they might see your stuff today, but they are not in the right place in the buyer journey. But they see your stuff again in 3 weeks, and then they might be ready to buy. So
Yeah.
you just need to post and share so that you are top of mind. And a good example here, one of the guy I had recording session with today, he did a post that was not a video post, by the way, but the principle is the same. That was not a successful post in my metric, because I at a minimum I get like 300. That is like usually the minimum I get, and I guess that would be unsuccessful. When I get up to closer to 1,000, I'm definitely happy. If it goes beyond 500, I'm certainly happy. And this post of his, he had, I think it was 7 comments and 13 or 14 likes, and I don't know how many views, but I'm guessing less than 100. But from that post, he got 2 leads. He got 2 sales calls from that one post. So, impressions is the wrong metric as long as you get in front of the right people who needs the service you provide.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely not the impressions, and I think the likes are pretty easy to get. For me, when I'm looking at my posts, it's like if I'm getting like 10 different people engaging and putting a comment, I was like, okay, that was something that resonated, right? Like that's a pretty good result. Even if it doesn't end up in a sale, it tells me that what I'm talking about or the way that I'm doing it is it's worthy of someone taking the time to participate, as long as it's not an AI bot, of course. So, which is still a problem. But anyway,
Yeah, but is it such a problem on? Is it a big problem on LinkedIn though?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Like, to what extent is it a problem? I know it doesn't do the thing of building human relationships, right? It annoys people. It's not really adding value to the conversation. It's kind of like adding to noise. So that alone, I'd say, is a problem. How it affects algorithm stuff, on anybody's guess at this point. But I just tend to think that anything that's spammy or bot like ultimately is going to be a bad thing. So. So I wanted to kind of wrap things up with your perspective on like what the best advice you would give to marketers, professionals on LinkedIn, maybe getting started with video. I know you've been a big advocate of just getting started and getting consistent. And thinking about the other things we talked about, do you have like a good takeaway piece of advice you'd like to share?
Yes, a good takeaway advice. I think the biggest and most important message I can put out there is that you need to be consistent. You just need to do more than a couple of times. You need to do more than a month. This takes time, but this is marketing and this is business. So if you do it consistently over time, you will see results. And you just need to get the reps in and be consistent about it, and the results will follow. I mean, obviously, you need to post content which is relevant for your ICP. But the consistency is a huge thing. Like, it took me about 4 months before I had someone I didn't know before pay me money for doing this video service. And I know of others who spent 6 months and 7 months. And, most people don't see results with LinkedIn instantly. So consistency is key. And you need to build up that relationship. And it takes time. But when you do, it is super powerful.
Okay, so there you go. Advice from Thomas. Keep showing up consistently. So, Thomas, thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing your insights, experience, and wisdom with us. And if people want to find you, I think they know how to find you on LinkedIn. Is there anything else that you'd like to point them to if they're interested in keeping up with you?
I think LinkedIn is good. I think that's my company's name is Remarkable Name. So there is remarkablename.com. You can find me there, but LinkedIn is where I live online. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the party. You're hard to miss on LinkedIn, so they should be able to find you. Well, thanks again for joining today, Thomas, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.